Welcome to O People of the Book YouTube channel.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله
O People of the Book YouTube channel.
نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم نبرات شعري سطرت لمداد حبري والقلم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم هيا قصائد سائلي قلب النوى ليس الشبم
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And sorry for the delay. Got caught up in the gym today. Went to the gym a bit late, and by the time I went there and do the warm-up exercises and everything, and got caught up there. Anyway, this is our usual Saturday for me. Maybe Sunday for you, maybe Friday for you, we don't know. Maybe night for you, maybe morning for you, I don't know. But me, it's Saturday night, and weekend is over, and our weekend finishes on Saturday here. And we move on to Sunday, which is the first day of the week, yeah. So like I said, please forgive me. I got caught up, had to run to the gym, and then from the gym I had to run to the laundry, get my clothes for work tomorrow. And so you're watching O People of the Book, you're watching Brother Jamal, and the usual from monogamy to polygamy, the way through. And you're watching us on Consider This TV as well. So please, as usual, give us a subscribe, like, and share. As you can see at the bottom there, you can see the link running, the banner running through. So please give us a subscribe, like, and share, and please by the next 2 months or so, because the efforts that are coming in and everything, we've reached for 440. 60 people is not a lot yet. To pass the news to 60 people is not a lot. To share with 60 people is not a lot, yeah? So please, I don't do this for to get likes or whatever, to get famous or whatever. I do this as a student of knowledge. I do this for to help my brothers and sisters. After this, there's more shows that I want to do. I want to do a few. I want to finish off that seerah that I started. I started the seerah, which was the Meccan phase, and then we're going to go into the Medinan phase. But the last bit of the seerah that time, I don't know what happened. Maybe I was in a different mood, so I didn't finish it. I stopped it before the seerah itself, yeah, before the hijrah itself. So maybe I'll carry on with the seerah. I'll do this the second part of the seerah. Or there's so many other content that I want to bring you. So please raise that 500, raise that 400 to 500. Then we'll see. We'll move on to that. If my content is good, then people will give me more likes. But like I say, I don't do it for likes. I do it for Allah, and that's sincerity is very, very important when you're a student of knowledge. Anyway, so we move on. We move on to the questions and answers. We were doing the questions and answers. I'm feeling very sweaty, and my glasses are getting Yeah, so we're on the questions and answers for the book From Monogamy to Polygamy, and these questions you might be asking yourself. Yeah, you might be asking yourself these questions, or people have probably asked you these questions, and you don't have the answers for it, or maybe like you got friends who want to who are thinking of entering into polygyny, male or female, or you have sisters who are already in polygyny and like in a situation where they need questions answered. So we're on page 148, and today we're not going to go into any resources because obviously we're a bit late. And whoever's on there, if you can just come in and give me a salam or whatever, cheer up my mood, because I've been running around and with running from the gym and everything, already tired from the gym, and then running around, make sure I get here on time. And so anyway, if you're out there, just come in and give us salam, and we see who's there, and we'll get through the questions. Okay, page 148, question. But I don't want to share my husband. Is that such a crime to want a man to yourself? Very interesting thing, because it's one of the things that comes to the sisters' minds. They're sharing their husband, and they don't want to share their husband. Now, first of all, it's not a crime. But secondly, we've been talking about this for a long time now. Who do you put above everything? Allah. Yeah, you put Allah above everything. So Allah should be the one that's your priority, and not your husband. Like I said, husband can die tomorrow, wife can die tomorrow, but Allah lives on. Yeah, it's not a crime, but try and put Allah first, then you don't have to worry about them sharing husband. The answer is no, it's not a crime. Being selfish when it comes to your husband is normal for most women. But keep in mind that you should love your love for your sister what you love for yourself. We've been talking about this for a while now, the love for others, the love for your sister, what you love for yourself. It is very, very important, because the Prophet ﷺ made it clear for hadith. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب نفسه. Yeah. So one is not a proper believer if he doesn't like for his brother or sister Muslim what he wants for himself. And obviously, if a woman's she wants happiness, for herself, then she's got a husband, and then she wouldn't it wouldn't bother her if her Muslim sister has got a husband. Oh, I forgot to do a sound check, but the usual, but. Yeah, I'm going out, so it's no problem. So no need to ask anybody to give you one or two, whatever. I can hear myself. Yeah. So So the question here, is why am I doing? Yeah. So there's the question here is from the book itself. Okay, so keep in mind that you should love for your Muslim sister what you love for yourself. Okay, this is obviously an extremely difficult thing to follow when it comes to your marriage and your husband. Don't feel bad that you want your husband all to yourself. Most women do, but remember, he has the right to marry up to 4 wives. So try to deal with your emotions and turn to Allah. Okay, this is very important, that you have to understand that it is a right that Allah has given him. See, there's life changes as you go along. Maybe in the beginning, okay, things were going differently between you and your husband. And I was reading a book yesterday. I can't remember which book it was. Oh yeah, this book that the brother Sheikh Coach Nadir has released, Polygamy. I forgot the title of it. I'll just remind you. It's very interesting. If you can get hold of that and read it, it's very interesting. It's got some good points in there. So if you can get hold of that, I was reading something very, very important about it as well, and just not crossed my mind now to remind you. But we have to understand. We have to understand that that love that. We spoke about before, the moderate love, and not the extreme love. It's so extreme that now you in the book it mentions that in the brother's book that often women blame themselves. Women blame themselves for it's my fault. My husband's taken another wife, or am I not good enough for him, or whatever. No, these are not the answers. he has the right to take another wife, and there comes a time in life where I've noticed that most men, when they reach 40, okay, and they reach the age of 40, that's it. They something is falling down. What was that? I think it's just a bottle of water. Yeah, it's a bottle of water. So yeah. So when a man reaches the age of 40, no matter what you do, sister, to try and that feeling is there. In the book, it mentions, right? It mentions that, and it's something that is normal. You ask a man, okay? You just ask any man, right? If your wife agrees, if there's no problems, okay, that your wife agrees that you take another wife, she will not make any problems for you. Would you just do so? What would be his answer? No? He'll tell you yes. Yeah. He might joke around and say, "Oh, one headache is enough," But why should you be a headache for him? You should be the coolness of his eyes. Yeah. So any man, whether he can afford it, he cannot afford it, whether he's rich, he's poor, he's whatever, that is an inert feeling inside him, and you cannot change that. Yeah. So, you don't want to share your husband, fine, but it's an extremely difficult thing. Yeah? But remember, you have to deal with turning to Allah. We've spoken about that several times. The main thing in our lives, for anything that happens to us, whether I'm talking to the man or I'm talking to the woman, anything that happens to us, return to Allah. Okay. So, another question: if a woman called her husband with sweet terms of endearment for so long, so he stopped doing so so if a woman has called her husband with sweet terms of endearment for so long, should she stop doing so in the presence of her co-wife? Yes, she should, the answer. From good manners and in an effort to prevent jealous feelings, it is a good idea to be careful how you speak to your husband. You don't overdo it now to show the other, to make her jealous or whatever. I'm going to overdo it. Honey, Danny, whatever, They say no money now. How do you it? Yeah, so it's not a good idea. Yeah. You should, you should not do it in front of her. Each and every one of you, yeah. When you're alone with your husband, his turn with you, your turn with him, his turn with you, or whatever. You call him all the terms of endearment that you like. That's between you and your husband. There's nobody there to get in the way and feel jealous or whatever. So the book says now clearly that it is a good idea to be careful how you speak to your husband in the presence of your co-wife. Interaction with your husband in presence of your co-wife must be carefully watched, because even something small may cause jealousy or other emotions to act up, which would create fitna. Though you don't put your arms around your one wife, while you're talking to the other one, and you don't put your arms around her, and she's looking at you feeling how he's putting his arms around her, and he's talking so sweet to her, and not to me or whatever, So that is important as well for the man's side as well. So for the sister's side as well. Now you don't when you see your co-wife or whatever, you met somewhere, straight away now you hold your husband tighter or whatever, and you, oh my darling or whatever, hold my, no. Try and avoid that. Please try and avoid that. In order to not to bring out the jealousy. Next question. Can your friend be your co-wife, or is it better a perfect stranger? All right, the answer is, and then I'll explain to you a few other things after that concerning that. The answer for them is, this really depends on people involved. It's been heard that often female friends become co-wives, have had bad experiences, and end up not being friends anymore. Sometimes perfect strangers become good friends. It would be best to have a sister who fears Allah and tries to implement the teachings of the Quran and Sunnah in her life for a co-wife. Whether she is a friend, acquaintance, or stranger, piety is an important factor to success of polygyny. Now, I've heard that a lot of, this is what the book says, I've heard that a lot of sisters, rather than using that as an advantage, she's already close to the family. She already knows your wife. Your children already know her, rather than using that as a plus, as an advantage to enter into the family, you can look after her children. Her children are used to you or whatever, her children know you. She knows you. She can trust you as a friend or whatever. But a lot of women tend to opt out of this and say no. No, it's going to break up our friendship or whatever. It's happened to me a few times, when I've spoken to others and whatever, and it comes out. I personally, psychologically, I don't understand it. I mean, if someone is your friend and you trust them, you know them, you can trust them, you can leave them with your children, then why should you break up your friendship? Except that if you're thinking all the time, oh, she's sleeping with my husband, I'm jealous of my husband. That's the thing that causes that jealousy, that hatred, that whatever. If you pull that out of the way, and then you bring in somebody who's close to you, who knows your family, and then you know her, but you keep that jealousy on hold, you keep it in control, then I think that this would work out. I know some women who've actually looked for sisters who they know for their husband to get married to. So I don't see why it should hinder. I mean, the sister here says they've had bad experiences and end up not being friends anymore. But I don't know. I see it the other way around. If you take psychology, look at psychology and think of it, that the person you can trust, okay, she's your husband's wife. She's not colleague's wife. She's your husband's wife. So whatever she might do in your house or whatever, she will not want to hurt your husband's children, because of the fact that they're supposed to be close like her own children. Something happens to you. I'm not saying that it would, but if something happens to you and you are no longer alive, then who is the husband going to take? In marriage, to look after his children. So it would be better. I would say it would be better if it was a friend who knows your family, who knows your taste, who knows your children, who's been around your family, who knows what you don't like. But I don't know. There's women's psychology is different and men's psychology is different. So that's the answer from there. What is a feeling of being first wife or a second? Whether one is the first, second, or third, this is the answer from the book, whether one is the first, second, or third, or fourth, each woman is a wife of her husband. Remember that, you're married to the same man. So whatever happens, often you see that you treat it as if it's something totally different. I mentioned that last week, I think, that polygyny is actually marriage. It's the same thing. It's not something came down from a different planet called polygyny and it's lurking around here. Oh, let me grab that. No, let me get rid of that. Oh, no, this one stinks. Put it away or whatever. No, this is, it's marriage. The laws are the same. The contract and everything is the same, except that you're adding another member in your family. I know a friend of mine. He's in the UK. And he's got two families. And my first show that I did on this, if you go back, my first or second show, I interviewed somebody. I interviewed a good friend of mine. And he's been in polygyny for I don't know how many years now. He makes it work out. And whether it's first, second, or whatever, he makes it work out. He's got children on one side, children on the other side. So don't think that polygyny is something that is just landed from a different planet and now we're going to have to figure out what to do with this now, where to go. Oh, why is this? No, the rules and regulations are there. Islam came and regulated it and gave us everything. If we put our trust in Allah, if we put our trust in Allah and we turn to Allah, then I, I don't know. I see this a bit of a bizarre question, actually. What is a feeling of being a first or second? Yeah, don't understand that. Anyway, whether the answer is whether one is the first, second, or third, each woman is the wife of her husband. Often, too much importance is placed on the number. That is a very important thing as well. Yeah, when we say first, second, third, we don't mean level that she's loved or she's under this one, the other one. No, the level that she came in, the chronology that she came into the family. That's why this one is first. She was the first to get married. Okay, so it's called the first. This one came in after 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, 6 years. So she's second in chronology. Okay, so second in chronology. The other one, okay, that one who's the first, she might have a bit of authority because she knows her husband very well. She's been around them, her family and everything. But it shouldn't be often too much importance is placed on which number the wife is. How many co-wives have been asked the question, are you the first or the second? But what does it really matter? Seriously, what does it really matter? Whether you're the first, second, third, fourth, what does it really matter? If you're all married to the same man, what does it matter? Yeah? Okay. Will one be hated if she says that she's the second? Exactly, the man has to love all of them the same. The Prophet ﷺ had a preference. Listen to the word now. A little preference for Aisha. He didn't hate others and loved Aisha. No, he loved all of them, but he had this little inkling for her. Yeah, that was a little bit more than the others, but he didn't hate her. So not because you're the second now, you're going to be hated. The first one is going to be loved. That's not the way it goes. Yeah. So it's okay. Yeah. So all wives have the same rights, and there's no superiority of one over the other based on her number. So you have number 2 stuck on the other one's back, and number 3, or you'll name them on your phone, wife number 1, wife number 2, wife number 3. Yeah. It's a little bit too much, a little bit in excess kind of thing, And if you've gone out and all of them are together and so they're certain, you're not going to kind of oh, you were first, so I will treat you first. She was second, so I will treat her second. She was third, so I will serve you first. I will serve her second, and no, come on, that's not the way it goes. There's no superiority of one over the other based on a number. Each wife is a wife, and as such, she feels relatively the same as any wife would feel. I keep trying to put this point across. Yeah, marriage is a marriage, whether it's through first, second, or third. It's a marriage. It's the same thing you will go through. You have your walima, you have your nikah, your walima, yeah. Your night with your wife, and you're treated the same. Same thing. It's not something that came down from the moon and suddenly now we have to figure out what to do with it. Yeah? It is the same. You're signing the contract, you're putting on the contract for certain things, you're removing certain things or whatever, or accepting anything. It's the same thing. So why should there be a number? Right? Each wife is a wife, and as such, she feels relatively the same as any wife would feel. She has her marital bliss as well as her marital difficulties, like all marriages do. Now, there are, of course, specific emotions that go along with being a previous wife versus a consecutive wife. Now, I've noticed that many sisters whose husbands want to get into polygamy, they go run into the first wife and want to know her feelings, her feelings now. Your husband taking a wife. How do you feel about it? I don't feel that listening. I don't know. I feel that a little bit below the waist, basically. It shouldn't be done. Yeah, shouldn't be done. Go running to the first one, because obviously she has feelings. She will tell you her feelings. She'll not tell you, oh, I had a party the day he took his second wife. We had a party. We both no, she's not, obviously. Yeah. She has feelings, and she might not feel happy about it, but it was done. So you don't go running to that first wife now and want to know how she feels, because you're going to feel the same. You're different. She's different. Okay, your situation is different, her situation is different, your husband is different, her husband is different. Okay, so to go running to another person to ask for advice, I think that's not the right thing to do. And even in your marriage, your same marriage, yeah, we don't number them. And okay, so we say previous. Where are we? Yeah. Now there are, of course, specific emotions that might go along with being a previous wife or consecutive wife. We say previous and consecutive because at any given time, a consecutive wife can become a previous wife. And thus must go through the same type of emotion as the previous co-wife had gone through. So, for instance, a second wife may go through a range of negative emotions when a husband takes a third wife. Okay, clear. The first wife was quiet, happy. There's another very important book as well. I mentioned last time that I got it on Kindle. I'm trying to open my Kindle, but I don't know why it's not opening. And there's a book that couple of books that I got last time that I was reading to you about, and this one is a new one just come out by a sister, and she kind of was living in a world of bliss, and she explains a dream that she had, and the fact that her husband decided to take another wife or whatever, her feelings, her emotions. So that first wife, she had her feelings and emotions, and you came in. Okay, you as the second came in. Now you as the second, you got no guarantee that your husband's not want to go take a third. So you're going to go in the same emotions as the first one. Yeah. A second wife may go through a range of negative emotions when a husband takes a third wife. Okay, where's my camera? Okay. Yeah, just as the first wife might have when he married her. As has been seen, some previous wives tend to go through emotions such as anger, pain, sadness, feeling of betrayal, lack of confidence, depression, etc. But turning to Allah for help and strength can bring one through the satisfaction can thus be found. Consecutive wives may feel different emotion, such as insecurity, feeling left out, jealousy, because the previous wife had been married longer and might have more children, or feeling of her and her marriage being worthless than her co-wives. Some women, of course, will experience these emotions and some won't. It's not the same. All marriages are not the same. Yeah, we cannot give one answer for all. It depends. A lot of these are dependent on the woman herself, her connection to Allah. Your connection to Allah has to be strong. Whether you're married, you're not married, married in one marriage, married in polygamous marriage or whatever. Your connection to Allah, as a Muslim, has to be strong anyway. You have to have that connection to Allah. Yeah. So whatever happens, you turn to Allah. You don't turn to whatever makhluk and ask them and try and solve your problems. You turn to Allah, and Allah is the one who's the doer of all things. So Anyway, we've reached the 30-minute mark, and I'd like to remind you that you're watching our People of the Book, and you're watching our Saturday live show, from monogamy to polygamy, to polygyny. Sorry, I don't like using that word. And you're watching us on our People of the Book, and you're watching us also on Consider This TV network, where we have several channels on there, and you can go in and subscribe, like, and share. Okay. So we're going through the questions and answers. I'm sure there's a lot of these questions that come through your mind, your friend's mind. Friends could have asked you, because while men, okay, are around each other, we don't talk about politics. We talk about in Jahiliyyah time. I don't want to repeat things from Jahiliyyah, but there was a saying, yeah, when boys talk, they don't talk politics. When boys talk, they talk about their chicks. That's what's her name? Jahiliyyah term. But when men are around, of course, we talk about taking a second wife. We talk about, every man around. At work all day, this thing goes on, yeah, in the office and whatever. And I'm sure sisters as well have this. That in the masjids, when they meet with with sisters or whatever, that has come across their minds, because their husband probably has talked about it, so they talk about it with the sisters as well, And in the masjid, they see a sister who maybe has is in a polygamous situation. Now, don't shun these sisters. That's one thing. I read a post one sister had written, or was it in the books that I am that I've been reading. Either it's a post or in the books where they shun the sister, knowing that the sister is in a polygamous marriage. They shun her completely. Yeah? Now, this is the sisters, where the sisters should be welcoming to them, but no, they don't want that. I remember a long time ago. It's an old story. I don't want to go back and tell that story. It's a long story. But anyway, let's go back to the questions. Okay, would my love and respect for my husband decrease? Would it turn to hate? It shouldn't do. It shouldn't. It could do. Yeah. It could do, but it shouldn't. It is natural to think such thing would happen. At the beginning, it is often done on a surface level. That is, anger and pain from your husband remarrying makes you feel like you hate him and that you've lost all the love for him. On the contrary, though, the reason you hurt so bad is because you do love him. As long as he is acting properly and following Allah's commandments, there isn't any reason to lose respect for him. That's why I don't understand, yeah? There are some sisters, as soon as they hear the word polygyny, they will listen, and as soon as they hear the word, their husband has got them, he has the thought he's going to get another wife. That's it. No matter how much respect, no matter how much good he was, no much how much respect you had for him, you just suddenly lose that respect, even if he hasn't done it. There's cases where he hasn't done it; he's just talking. A lot of times it's just talk. Many men that I know, it's just talk. In the office, like I said, is talk. Some of them don't even want to. Some of them can't even afford to. Some of them, would love to, but it's just talk. But the sister on the other side, emotionally, soon as she hears, that's it. She loses all respect for her husband. You shouldn't. You shouldn't. All these years you've loved him. All these years he's loved you. Yeah, he would take a bullet for you. If somebody breaks into your house, if somebody breaks into your house and tries to attack you or whatever, who will what's her name? I'll tell you a situation where there was a noise in the kitchen the other day, and as a wife, my wife turned to me and then looked at me. What's that noise in the kitchen? I can hear a noise. And I got up and, I as a man, as a husband, I'm the one who has to get up and go and check it out. This the cat, I think. The cat jumped over something or other and then threw things all over the place. But if somebody was breaking into your house, yeah, who's going to go up and check it? You? As the wife? No, it's your husband. So your husband's willing to take a stabbing for you, willing to take a bullet for you. Yeah? That means he loves you and respects you. Okay, for him to do that. Now, what has happened to that love and respect as soon as he talks about polygyny? Now, that love and respect is gone. Yeah, that all that that he was prepared to give his life for you. All that you put aside now. You remember just the fact that he mentioned polygamy. That's a bit hard. So as long as he's acting properly and he's following Allah's commands, he's not doing any bad to you. If your man was going out and he was gambling, finishing all the family's money at the end of the month, you don't have any money, you're having to borrow from here, borrow from there, and he's gambling all the money, and would you still love him? If he had some alcohol addiction. He was a good man, had a alcohol addiction, which is haram in Islam. Yeah. But he'd have a few drinks and come home and feel a bit mellow and wouldn't hurt you, wouldn't do anything bad to you or anything But if he finishes his money in alcohol, okay. Would you then decide, oh, I hate him, and whatever, I'm going to divorce him? A lot of women, no, they don't. Okay, they would put up with that. Maybe they will try to change him. They will try to stop him. They will try to do different things. Yeah. But when a man talks about his his intention of taking another wife, that's it. You lose all respect that you had for him. But if this man now is acting properly, he's looking after you, he's giving you everything you need, he's following the commands of Allah, he wakes up for salah, he wakes you up for salah, he's halal, he's bringing halal rizq to you at the end of the month. He's paying your rent. At the end of the month, the month comes, rent is paid, you got no worries. He's gone out, filled the car up with shopping, filled your fridge, filled your cupboards or whatever. He's fulfilling his commands to Allah. And also he's every now and again he will cook for you, clean for you, help you in the kitchen. Then there's no reason to lose any respect for that man just because he decided he's going to take another wife. Think about it, sister. Just sit down and think about them. I'm not kind of sugarcoating man or whatever. There are some really bad men out there or whatever. We don't paint all men with the same brush. There's some very good men out there. And these men, yes, if you want to take another wife, why would you lose any respect for him? Yeah, have to sit down and think. Men are different, women are different. We think differently. Maybe that's why I'm thinking this way. We think differently. Okay, it's just a matter of coming to terms with the new arrangement for your life. As you realize that, you will still love him. It becomes easier to deal with pain and take steps in finding happiness within polygyny. Okay, so that's that question answered. If there is anybody out there, sometimes I feel lonely. I feel like I'm talking to myself or whatever, and I can see people viewing. I can see people watching and everything. So. Just give me a shout, just give me a shout, give me a salam, and how are you, brother, salam alaikum, and this guy. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, basically, although I'm doing it for Allah, I don't care, I'm sitting down here talking to myself, it's not a problem, but at least, give me a thumbs up, and like and share and whatever. Okay, next question. Do you think that Allah would like me to suffer in pain of humiliation and loneliness? Now, that's a very, how would I say? I wouldn't judge. I mean, come on, this is like judging Allah. You know, Allah is he's the Almighty, all powerful. Okay, we don't judge His decision. Now, His decision, you might feel pain, humiliation, and loneliness, but that's not what Allah has prescribed for you in polygyny. Okay, so to say that, like, to ask a question, do you think that Allah would like me to suffer in pain? I mean, in that case, what about all the pain that's going around in the world? Do we blame that on Allah? No, we don't blame all the pain and suffering that is going around in the world on Allah. Yeah, humiliation. What humiliation is there in polygyny? Is there any humiliation? A man taking another sister, like, is there any humiliation in there? Giving dignity to another sister, is there humiliation in there? Loneliness. I think I mentioned it last week, that it gives you time to do more things. One thing that a lot of sisters don't realize is, like, not a lot of women like a man breathing over her shoulders 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. She's happy when the man's out, when the man's gone to the gym, when the man's gone swimming, the man's gone to work or whatever, or is with friends sometimes or whatever. She's happy. She gets that spare time for herself. So make the most of that loneliness. Turn to Allah. Okay? Let's see what the book says. You do not need to be humiliated by polygyny. Just what I was saying. The Prophet ﷺ remarried on his wives, and they were from the best of the women of the nation. Know that there is no humiliation in polygyny. I've been saying that, yeah? Humiliation comes from going against Islam and polygyny. Humiliation comes from going against Islam, and polygyny is part of Islam. Yeah. So when you say you feel humiliated, the humiliation is going against polygyny. It's not like, you feeling humiliated. You not accepting the polygyny, going against Islam, that's the humiliation. Your husband's remarrying does not reflect on you, how good you are as a wife. I think we mentioned that before, and also all the books that I've been reading mention that. It doesn't reflect on you. Not that you're not a good wife, not that you haven't done enough, not that you haven't, like, fulfilled or whatever, like, man's a man. Man's a man, and like they say, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Yeah, so a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Khalas, there's nothing more than that. It is simply part of the nature of a man to desire women. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that of this world, there are two things that he desires, three things that he desires. That's the women, atar, and salah. And salah is the best one, he said. Okay, prayers are the best. So, if it is simply part of the nature of a man to desire a woman, what's the humiliation? I don't see anything, any humiliation in that. Lift yourself up, and be proud of who you are and your marriage, and of your marriage. Lift yourself up and be proud of who you are and of your marriage. Think about all the blessings that Allah had given you in your marriage and with your husband. I keep reminding sisters about that, all the blessings that you've had for all these years. You've married, you've had children, your children got married, husbands paid here, paid this, paid rent. If you think from the time you got married until now, his salary every month goes into the rent, unless you help as well. That's just something different, like, to pay the rent. But usually, the husband's salary goes into the rent every month. Yeah, if you calculate that, you calculate the blessing of that. Yeah, you calculate the blessing. Oh, I forgot to. Okay. Yeah, you calculate the blessing of that. You calculate the blessing of your husband feeding you, your family, and everything. Like, you calculate the blessing of that. Okay, count the blessings, sister, from of your marriage and with your husband. Think about those sisters who have less than you have in this world. Think about the sisters who don't have a husband. Think about the sisters who at the end of the month have to struggle to pay their rent. Think about the sisters who, like, would like some comfort. Think about the sisters who, like, they've had a hard time and they need a man to kind of be with them and say, look, don't worry about it, everything will be all right, or like, maybe, a husband who will get up and make her a cup of tea and cup of coffee, like, and say, let's sit down and talk about it or whatever. Like, a lot of sisters out there would love that. A lot of sisters don't have that. You have it. Yeah, but a lot of sisters don't. So you should be grateful for the blessings. You should be grateful for the blessings, and you should be happy that another sister gets the blessings as well. Think about those sisters who have less than you in this world and who are suffering more than you. This may be a test from Allah for you. So keep that in mind and try to pass with flying colors. As regards to loneliness, inshallah, you will relish your time to yourself. And I mentioned that here. You might want to improve your Quran. You might want to, I don't know, you don't speak English properly, you want to learn more English, you might want to learn Arabic or whatever, and he's around you all day, like, not leaving you alone or whatever, and like, moaning and groaning or whatever. Now he's not here for 3 days. Yeah, he's not here for 3 days now. These 3 days now you can perfect your Arabic. Yeah. These 3 days now you can perfect your English. These 3 days now you can go out and then take listening. Quran lesson. These 3 days now, you can, you want to look good. You go out and then look good. Make the most of that time. Don't think of it as a negative. Think of it as a positive. Okay. Take the positive sides and leave the negative. Okay. Do co-wives have to raise each other's children together? That's an important thing. Every family is going to arrange such matters differently. It often depends on circumstances. Now, a man might have one wife in this locality, and he might have another wife in another locality. So they're not going to, raise each other's children. Maybe he's got a job in a different place, permanent job. He travels and then he comes here for 3 days, goes there for 3 days. He's got 2 jobs kind of thing, like, part-time here, part-time there or whatever. So these families may not mingle. They may meet each other for Eid and, mix together. But yeah, if you want that arrangement, then that's up to you. Like I said to you earlier on, that, like, who would you trust more with your children than a friend? Yeah. So if that's, if that what's the term for it? Yeah, if that's what you want, then yeah, go ahead. Every family is going to arrange such matters differently. It often depends on circumstances. Your obligation to Allah is to raise your children and to teach them about their deen. And your co-wife is responsible for her children. However, that's your husband's children, and you should love them just as such. Remember that you're married to the same man. Okay, you're married to the same man, so obviously, like, it's his children. So whatever children that involves it, this side and that side, they're his children. Yeah? The mother is different, but they belong to the same father. So show them the same kindness. Yeah. Okay. However, they are your husband's children, and you should love them as such. Realize as well that it is natural for a husband to want his wives to love all his children, and want his children to love each other and to get along well with each other. This creates peace in households and between households. Now, if families between one another can't get on, Okay, they're always bickering or fighting, and this one's talking about that one, that one's talking about that one, or whatever. How do you think the husband will feel? The husband now needs that peace of mind. He needs that peace of mind that he can actually, if there's any problems, he can intervene, he can help, he can advise, he can don't do like this, do like that, for the personal things or whatever. If you have an issue at home or whatever, how is he going to feel if he bickering between one another, fighting between one another? His mind is not on where it should be; it's somewhere else. Trying to get unity in the family, trying to bring peace in the family. Whereas if there is already peace, now he concentrates on how to be fair with his wife. Okay, how to be how end of the month comes. Okay, I've got this rent to pay. I've got that rent to pay. I've got this child's schooling. I've got that child's schooling. And that's what he needs to do. They take care of his responsibilities. Whereas if he's given that hard time, he cannot do that. Okay. Next question: when your husband takes a second wife, should you tell people about it? What if what if you're embarrassed by it? Whether you tell people about it or not, it's not your own. It's your own choice. You may make that decision based on how you are feeling about it. As you become more comfortable with it, it will be less of an issue to the people. Inshallah, to feel embarrassed, or inshallah, sorry. Let me take that again. As you become more comfortable with it, it will become less of an issue to tell people, inshallah. Okay? To feel embarrassed by your husband taking a second wife is very common. It is something to work on, however, because there's no need to feel embarrassed, as marriages are to be announced. Then there won't be then you won't be able to hide it. I mean, if your husband's got married and he's done a walima, he's invited his friends, okay, and he's done a nikah, he's had two witnesses, then people know about it. So then you won't be able to hide it, although it is not up to you to announce it. Your husband got married, it's up to him. Your husband should not keep this marriage a secret. So know that you will have to eventually deal with people knowing about it. So obviously, if your husband didn't get married secretly, he got married openly, then he's going to have a walima, and Fulan's husband will be invited. Fulan from the masjid will be invited. They know about it. They will go home. They will tell their wife, brother so and so got them took another wife, and I'm invited to the walima or whatever. So why should you be embarrassed? So I hope these are answering your questions that you have in your mind. We'll do another page. It's 53. What's the name now? Because I started a bit late, I don't want to go too late as well. So I don't want to leave this. So it's 53 minutes, and you're watching our People of the Book, and you're watching our Saturday from monogamy to polygyny, and I hope you're benefiting from this. My main aim is that you benefit. That's what I'm here for. I came running from gym and whatever, make sure I didn't miss this so that you can benefit. For Allah, for the sake of Allah. So take something from it. I hope you do take something from it, and I hope that you can pass it on to others, bring others and tell others who are wanting to join, or others who are in polygyny already. Okay. Now the book carries on. Okay, try to get over your embarrassment by thinking about about the people's wives, and look at it as a blessing for all the benefits that come with being a co-wife. Okay, So I don't know. The sisters tend to kind of focus more on the negative side than they're taking the positive side. Things like this, you should be looking at the positive rather than putting all the negatives behind, rather than putting all the negatives. Putting all the positives behind and looking at only the negatives. Everything has a positive and a negative. Okay, so we'll do this page. We'll do this page, and then yeah, we'll do this page. 1 second, please. Anyway, so yeah, so this is the beginning, the beginning of page 152. So what we'll do is because it's already gone, well, it's coming to the 56 the 1 hour mark, and because today I got delayed, like I said, I got delayed because of the gym. This is a usual time I finish anyway, so I think we will finish on here. I'll finish on here, and then if there's any brothers or sisters out there who have any questions or want to kind of come in and give salam or whatever, and otherwise, you will watch this afterwards, and if there's any comments or whatever you want to put in on the what's the name, in the comments, and please, like I said, subscribe, like, and share. We've got all together now. We've got 440 subscribers, and like I said, I don't do this for subscribers. I do this for Allah. I'm a student of knowledge, and I share my knowledge with my brothers and sisters. And obviously, on the other hand, what you can do is to subscribe, like, and share. That's the best you can do from your side. Okay, so page 152, we're going to stop here. Yeah, it's going to go to the 1 hour mark. I'll just give 1 or 2 minutes, like in case somebody wants to come in and give salam or ask any questions or whatever. And like I said, I'm a student of knowledge. I'm not a scholar. I'm still learning. And the other thing is as well. Remember, knowledge is fard on every Muslim. Knowledge is found on every Muslim. If you have knowledge, share the knowledge, because you will be asked on the day of judgment about your knowledge. If you studied and whatever, you have knowledge, proper knowledge. There's etiquettes to seeking knowledge and everything, and you follow that, and may Allah make easy for you. Yeah? So we will wait a little bit and to the hour mark, and like I said, you might not be watching this today. You might not be watching this tomorrow. You might not be watching this for another 5, 6 years, 10 years. I might be in my grave, and I will be getting the rewards for it. So, and also, if there is anything that I said that was wrong, please forgive me, because I'm a student of knowledge. I'm a human, and I might make mistakes. But everything good that you got from this is from Allah. Okay, and please make dua to Allah that Allah gives me more knowledge so that I can share with you. Okay, and inshallah, like I said, after this book is finished, we're going to go through other books as well. There are other things I want to do. I probably want to finish the Sirah, the Medinian period. Or I was thinking of doing one or two books of Sheikh Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawzi. I really like him, the Sheikh. Also, Sheikh al-Jawzi as well. They're two different people there. Sheikh Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah and Sheikh al-Jawzi, they are two different people, and they have some very, very good books. So I've been going through their books lately, and I've been reading a lot, and So maybe next when this series finished, maybe I will be doing more about some of their books as well. Yeah. So I think we will end here. We're on the 1 hour mark now, so we'll finish here. Yeah, and like I said, if you have any questions, you put them in the comments, and we'll see them next time. Otherwise, I will see you next week then, inshallah. Okay. سبحان ربك وعزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I'll see you next week, inshallah.